Welcome to this lesson. In this lesson, we will explore the OpenAI platform. So if you head to OpenAI website, www.openai.com, you can access two main offerings. The ChatGPT application, chat.openai.com, for interactive conversations. Then you have the developer platform, platform.openai.com, for API integration. To utilize either of the above services, users need to sign up for an OpenAI account. ChatGPT offers users both free and premium tiers. Free tier provides basic functionality powered by the GPT 3.5 model. Users can experience interactive conversations with ChatGPT for free without any cost. Upgrading to the premium tier offers access to the most recent GPT-4 model, along with GPT-4 access. Premium users enjoy other benefits such as faster response times and priority access to new features. The developer platform provides easy-to-use APIs that enable developers to access and interact with various OpenAI models, including GPT, DALL-E, and Whisper. Leverage the developer platform to build custom solutions tailored to your specific use cases and requirements, utilizing the full potential of AI. The OpenAI developer platform unlocks the capabilities of various AI models such as GPT, DALL-E, and Whisper, empowering developers to build cutting-edge applications across many domains. Okay, let's have a demo and go to the OpenAI website. I'll click on www.openai.com. As you can see, I have the OpenAI landing page. Of course, here if you look at the products, you will see the various products, including ChatGPT, GPT-4, and DALL-E, and others. Also, if you click here on the menu for developers, this will show you information about the API, the application programming interface. So usually one of the first things that you need to do, you need to sign up for an account. And for the free account, you can get access to ChatGPT. Also, you can get access to the APIs with a free credit, which is for now, I think, around $5. It used to be a free credit of $20 a few months ago, but now it is just $5. But you can go and start using it before adding your billing information. So if you sign up, then click on login. You will see these products from OpenAI. If you click on ChatGPT, that will open the ChatGPT visual interface, or if you click on API, that will open the API documentation. So first, let me open ChatGPT. So this is ChatGPT. It is at chat.openai.com. So you can directly go to this page, chat.openai.com. You can see that I have created or signed up for this user account. I didn't provide any information except the basic username and email and password. For the settings, you have some very little settings that you can control from here. You can also upgrade to Plus or Premium user. It now costs $20 per month. It gives you access to ChatGPT 4, faster response speed, and you will get early access to some of the new features. But as I said, you don't need for this course to have a paid plan. You can use ChatGPT, the free tier. You will get access to GPT 3.5, which is more than enough for us. We will use that actually throughout the course in order to code or develop or program, I mean, the front-end part of our applications. We will be building some web applications. We will build the back-ends ourselves, and we will make use of ChatGPT in order to program the front end, which will contain HTML, CSS, and JavaScript code. We will do that starting of next section. So ChatGPT allow you to make conversations with this model. For example, I can say, what is the capital of France? The capital of France is Paris. What is its population? And as you can see, I don't need to say Paris, what's the population of Paris, because it will remember that I asked him about France, the capital of France, and he said Paris. So now I just say what is its population, and it will know that I'm asking about Paris. As of my last knowledge, which is up to September 21, the population of Paris is 2.1 millions, as we can see. Now we can ask what is its area, and again it will realize that we are still talking about Paris. In fact, we can ask what are we talking about. And there is a spell mistake here, but most likely it will be able to answer my question. Okay, we are discussing information about Paris, so it knows what we are talking about. Now, why it is up to September 2021? It is because the information that was used in training this model, GPT 3.5, was all information from the internet up to September 2021. It then took months in order to train the model on this data and make it available for us. So the world ends for now for GPT on September 2021. But of course, there are some methods like plugins and other things which can be used in order to enable ChatGPT to connect to the internet and receive more recent data. So that's for ChatGPT. We will use it in order to write code in this course, but it can be used for a very large variety of applications like customer support and so on. Now I will close ChatGPT. I'll come here to this list of applications. Now I will select API. As you can see here, we see platform.openai.com. This enables us to call the OpenAI models, including the GPT models, the DALI models for imaging, and the Whisper model for speech to text. You can see the first tab here, we have the overview. We have the getting started and the example. We see here the GPT models, image recognition, which is DALI, speech to text, which is Whisper. Fine-tuning, you can further fine-tune these models. We will look at this on a separate section. Embeddings is a very important concept. There are some models that do embedding for certain texts and words. This will look at later, also very important topic. So this is in general what we have on the overview tab. If we look on the documentation tab, you can see we have a lot of information, a lot of documents about the models in general. If we look at models, you can see here we have the models that we talked about, most of them now. We here have GPT-4, GPT 3.5, GPT 3.0 also it is here, although it has been deprecated, so it will not receive any more updates. It will continue to be supported, but will not receive any new update. DALI, the image generation, Whisper, the speech to text, embeddings, we will talk about them. Moderation is if you have a question to ChatGPT, all questions are moderated to make sure that they are safe questions for the model to answer. So if you have a question and you will want to see its moderation, if it is going to be classified as acceptable or not, you need to send it to one of the moderation models. This is in general what we have in the documentation section. Then we go to the very important tab, which is the API reference. This one, I think we are going to cover everything here. So if you start, we have the introduction. It's showing us how to install the SDK in Python and in Node.js. Then we'll talk about authentication. We will cover that in the first lesson in section 2. We need to get an API key, which is a secret key that we will use to access OpenAI. Remember, OpenAI APIs are not free. They are cheap, but they are not free. So you need to register. You will get a $5 free credit. Then you need to provide a payment method in order to pay for the access. Now, the free part is almost more than enough to let you go through this course. Then you will see the code. All the code here is provided in 3 formats. The first one is an HTTP REST API call. Here it's done using the curl utility, but every other programming language it does have a method to make REST API calls, which are HTTP requests. So you will always find these API calls because for most of the programming languages, the SDK is not ready. It's only ready for Python, as we can see, and for Node.js. But for everything else, you need to rely on making REST API calls. And that's why you will find these type of calls on every part of the model call. Of course, here we have the snippet from Python because we have an SDK for Python, which is a code that you download to your client program and you use it in order to call the models instead of going and doing the REST API directly. Also for Node.js, you can see we have this code to initialize the SDK in order to access the backend directly, not needing to go explicitly through the HTTP call. Then you can see here we are making requests. One of the endpoints we have is the models, which is for any endpoint you can ask, or for any model you can ask for the available versions of that model. We will not care a lot about this. Then we will care about chat completion, which is calling to 3.5 or to 4.0. So calling GPT 3.5 or GPT 4, we use the chat completion API. And again, every code is available in all the 3 formats: HTTP REST point call, Python, and Node.js. Then we have the completion endpoint. This completion endpoint is deprecated, so it will not receive update. It used to be used with GPT 3.0. Then we have the image, which is for image generation. We will do it. We will create an image from text. We will modify an existing image, and we will create variations of images. After that, we have the embeddings. We will do embeddings for certain sequences using this model. We will understand what is embeddings used for when we cover that in a separate section. Then we have the audio, the speech to text, where we will call Whisper. Then we have files. We can upload files in order to use them in other tasks, particularly for fine tuning. Then we have the fine tuning. If we have a model that we need to train it further on our specialized data, so we can improve the model by fine tuning it or training it further on our specialized data of our domain. Then we have the moderation. Moderation, as I said, some questions might not be safe for the model to answer, so all questions are moderated. The moderation APIs will tell us the result of the moderation, if the question will be accepted by the models or not. So this is in general the very important tab, which is the API reference. So here you can find the very important other two tabs, which are the examples and the breakdown. If you look at the example, you can see here a lot of the examples, which are very useful examples. For example, this is one of the very important examples. You will see that here we have a system role. We will know what that means later. We are giving it a database schema. Then the user role, which is another role, can make some queries using natural language to ask for SQL queries. So here in the system we give a database schema, SQL code, and here we will ask questions about it. We can see this code here in Python. Also, it is repeated in Node.js, and also it is available in curl for the REST API requests. Another application here is the emoji, for example, chatbot, where you provide a certain text and it will respond with an appropriate emoji. So you can see here the system role. You will be provided with a message, and your task is to respond using emojis only. So this system role, you told him that he need to respond with just emojis. Then here you ask, how are you? And it will return this emoji. Again, we have the curl, the Node.js SDK, and the Python SDK. Of course, we have the JSON object as well that will be sent and returned. Okay, for the playground, you see here you can select what you need to do. Completion was deprecated, so it is legacy, will not get updates. Edit, it's also legacy, will not get update. We will only care about chat completion. Here we have some models that we can select between them, and here you can see the various flavors of the GPT 3.5 model. There are other properties which we will cover later. Here you see the system role, and here we have the message to be used as user role. Now, before finish, just wanted to show you something. If you go to documentation, you will frequently come to here and see the models. If you look here, you will see the GPT-4 3.5 daily models. We have the GPT-3, the Whisper. Yes, these are the ones, and the embedding, we will care about them. Now, for each of them, when you click on it, you can see a list of the models. There are multiple variants of each model. A very important, of course, description is very important, but a very important factor is the max tokens. The max tokens is how many bytes or tokens, to be clear, how many tokens, you can think of them as words, there can be in your request and response together. So for GPT 3.5 Turbo, which is used by ChatGPT, you can have 4,096 tokens. For this version, you can have 16,000, but you will pay more. For this one, it's 4,000. This is 16,000. This is 8,000. So these are the GPT 3.5 variations and their maximum tokens. Again, the tokens, you can think of them as words for now. If you look for other things like embedding, you can see the name of the model and so on. For GPT-4, for example, you can see the max token. By the way, GPT-4 is more expensive than 3.5. Thank you.